Hi, NTeamEN, Nicholas speaking, and today we're going to talk about 10 misconceptions about global warming. The first misconception is that global warming hasn't been proven, and it's wrong. There are plenty of proofs from the rising temperature of the oceans to the melting glaciers. The second misconception is that the sun is the cause of global warming, and it is simply not true. Indeed, solar activity isn't increasing, at the contrary it has slightly decreased, and it's not linked to global warming on Earth. The third misconception is that global warming is not caused by human activities. And it's wrong. Indeed, studies show that the emission of greenhouse gases like carbon dioxide and methane coming from human activities are the leading cause of the increase in greenhouse effect. These gases have the property to absorb infrared light, trapping it in the atmosphere, which warms up the Earth. The fourth misconception is that holes in the ozone layer are making global warming worse. Actually, they are not linked. The ozone layer protects the Earth from UV rays that don't have any links with global warming, while greenhouse gases absorb infrareds that are linked to global warming. There is no link between the two besides the fact that they can be caused by the same gas. The fifth misconception is that global warming is caused only by CO2. Actually, a lot of gases increase the greenhouse effect, such as methane or even water vapor. And actually, we should not call this phenomenon global warming, but the rapid increase in energy around the world, because the energy is in many forms other than temperature. The sixth misconception is that species can adapt to global warming. And first, we need to acknowledge that individuals don't adapt. Only the ones that are already adapted survive, making the species more fit to survive over time in a process that takes a lot of time. And the vast majority of species simply does not have the time to adapt and will disappear if their life conditions continue to get worse. The seventh misconception is that the melting of ice sheets is the only cause of the rise of the sea levels. And even if the melting of ice is one of the reasons of the rise of the sea levels, there is another one called thermal expansion. Thermal expansion is when the volume of a body increases because its temperature increases. Indeed, since temperature is the motion of atoms, the more atoms move, the hotter it gets. And the more atoms move, the more they collide into one another and take more space. And if all these atoms take more space, at the scale of the ocean it is one of the causes of the rise of the sea levels. The eighth misconception is that global warming is a good thing since it makes plants grow. And I must say, no, global warming is not a good thing. Even if the CO2 emissions can help trees grow, global warming is not the cause of that but the consequence. Moreover, there are more bad side effects to global warming than good ones. The ninth misconception is that CO2 is not a pollutant. And on the contrary, excess of CO2 coming from human activities is terrible for the environment. Excess in CO2 causes the ocean acidification, which destroys entire ecosystems, but also causes an excess in greenhouse effect. The 10th misconception is that local weather can reflect the climate on a global scale, or in other words, the misconception that just because it's cold here means that there is no global warming. And obviously it's false. Local weather doesn't reflect the whole world, so saying that there is no global warming according to what you can see yourself is wrong. Alright, we're done. Here is the first end screen.